Hi, good morning to everybody. I'm Dr. Vijayan from Munusamy Medical Center. I'm a respiratory physician in the Department of Respiratory Medicines. Today we're going to talk about tobacco-related cancer. And today we will talk about regarding prevalent smokers in Malaysia, how tobacco can cause cancer, what type of cancer does smoke cause, and does smokeless tobacco increase cancer risk, whether alcohol worsen than smoking, what's the evident tobacco-related cancer. Okay. First of all, I would like to start my presentation with these cartoons. And we know, I would like to say that smoking is just not a bad habit, but it's more than worse, whereby it can cause many hazards to the human health as well as to the morbidity and also mortality later on. Okay, so what are the prevalence smokers in Malaysia? As we know, the National Health and Morbidity Survey 2015 have alluded clearly that predominantly men are the smokers, and mostly they're at age of 15 to 44, and most of the cases they start smoking at the age of secondary school, whereby in the prevalence is increasing among the women, whereby 70% increment yearly towards the women. So we can say approximately 1 in 8 women are smoking in Malaysia. Okay. So the many scenario and the question commonly put forward to the medical practitioner by the common people is, how does tobacco cause cancer for the people? As we know, the health research of the Americans and also UK have alluded that more than 70 compositions in the cigarette or tobacco are cancerogenic, and we alluded more than 7,300 compounds that actually harm to the human health, namely nicotine, benzenes, aromatic amylase, or we can have 1,3-butynate, and as well polyaromatics. So we shall go one by one in all these compounds. How does it cause hazardous to the human health? So the first polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbon is identified as a cancerogenic in tobacco smoke was benzopyrenes. Okay. So what this benzopyrene does to the human health? So this benzopyrene and acrylines is irreversibly bind with the DNA and is cause alteration in the genetic compound and cause mutation eventually to the cancer. Okay, so this benzopyrene is toxic, will bind to the, as I mentioned, with all these episodes of this DNA, be irreversibly attached, either to kill or cause genetic mutations. If mutation inhibit the program of the dead cell or become cancer, it means it inhibit the process of apoptosis. What is apoptosis? Is our human body are programmed to have a cell death. The cell death eventually die and phagocyte for the human body cleared from the body. If this mutated cell not undergo apoptosis, it eventually become the cancer. And as we know, benzopyrene is widely studied and is shown very hazardous during pregnancy, whereby it causes low IQ and also childhood asthma throughout the children's will later on. And another most component that we know of is nicotine. As we know, nicotine is not a cancerogenic and mutagen, but however this is contains of this nicotine actually will inhibit the process of apoptosis, as I mentioned earlier, and it accelerate the existence of the cancer cells in the human body. But the derivative of these nicotines are called nicotine derivatives nitrosamide ketones, or we call nitrosamide sonoronicotine, which turn or converted to become more cancerogenic to the human body. And this is immunofluorescent test shows these are the cells supposed to undergo apoptosis. Because of the nicotine stain, it's more brighter green, shows it's inhibit the process of apoptosis in the human cells. Okay. How does it happen in the human cell? So make it very simple, whereby we know more than 5,000 different chemicals is contained in 5 to 6,000, 7,000 chemical contained in this smoking tobacco, whereby it goes through your bloodstream, obviously to your air, and it will damage your DNA, including a part that protect against your cancer, and will intervene how the cells repairs damage. So eventually it causes cancer and the cell will propagate further. So that's all. It takes very long time, not in 1 or 2 days, because the body have a compensate mechanism whereby it have self-repairing mechanism despite you are smoking for a certain age. So as we know, this is a very flat female voice you can see in American TVs in 2018, whereby this corrective statement are the end result of the 11 years of court battle in the major tobacco company based after the US District Court judge ruled they were guilty, recruiting and required them to the American to tell truth about the damage of the smoking. So it says all cigarettes cause cancer, lung disease, heart attack and premature death. It can be light, due to the light, low tar, ultralights or naturals. This is not safe for the cigarettes. So these are the advertisements actually being advertised most of the TVs in November 2018. So the truth was spoken by the American Tobacco Company that it is hazardous to the humankind. Okay. So what are the cancer that smoking cause? So as we know, there are many hazardous caused by the cancer. We can divide it into the cancers and also chronic illness. So as we know, we divided into the upper cancer, for example, the head, neck, nasopharyngeal, and also lung cancer, and also hematological cancer, and also gynecological cancer. You didn't forget regarding the other chronic disease, for example, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and also it can cause gummy infections, it also can cause heart problem, aortic rupture, eventually it can cause pneumonia, or we call community acquired pneumonia, as well as reduce the fertility, as well hindering from the arteries or become hardening of the arteries. Okay, so what is my risk from smoking? So obviously number of years you spend smoking affects cancer most strongly. For example, smoke 1 pack a day for 40 years is even more dangerous than smoking 2 packs for 20 years. The more cigarette you smoke, the higher risk of the cancer. Research has shown that every 15 cigarettes smoked, there is a DNA change caused in the cell, the body become cancerous. But the best way to reduce it, stop smoking immediately. Okay. Does the smoking, those related, have relative risk? Definitely yes. As we shown in this graph, the more you smoke per day, the higher the relative risk to acquire for the cancer. Even there's 32 studies for men and 25 studies in the women. So the relative risk from the men and the woman is more or less same in the moderate risk. For those who are heavy smokers, the higher risk postulated in the woman. So the woman must be careful. Those who are smoking, please stop smoking because your risk to acquire cancer through the smoking is very high. Does smokeless tobacco increase cancer risk? Definitely yes. Smokeless cancers, what does it mean? In Malaysia, we can say chew or dry tobacco or moist oral tobacco or inhaled nasal stuff. So smokeless tobacco cause cancer because it contains tobacco-specific nitrosamine, or we call it TSNAs. So we also have acquired the betel quid or pan parat, as we know from our Asian populations, and this is a major cause factor for cancer, mostly in Malaysia and also in India. So even you don't smoke, by consuming the betel quid and pan parat, you still have a risk of getting nasopharyngeal cancer and also oral cancer. So is alcohol worse than smoking? This is a common question put forward in the most of the Google search. So as we know, cancer-causing effect of alcohol and tobacco is worse than either one by itself. So study has shown smoke and drinking alcohol are the higher risk of cancer of the mouth and upper throat. And the lot of review had shows that who only drink alcohol increase their risk by third compared to non-drinkers, whereby those who smoke or used to smoke, like and also drank alcohol, around 3 times more likely to have cancer those who didn't eat neither. So, alcohol versus smoking, how does it cause? And the simple factor is the multiple way it can cause is the absorption to the oral cavity, bloodstream, whereby it can cause cancers in your liver, also in your other organ in your human body. So what are the evidence of a tobacco-related cancer in the medicines? So there's a meta-analysis review I would like to show here. So this is a graph called relative risk, whereby it is postulated. So I'd like to explain how this graph is interpreted. So we see this risk, if anything more than for this midline, is higher risk to somebody to acquire cancer, and those who are below this 1.0 is the less risk. So if you see the upper risk, upper respiratory tract due to smoking is more towards the higher risk a person to acquire cancer. Same goes to the oral cavity, is more toward the higher risk to acquire cancer. And also for the pharynx cancer, nasal sinus and nasopharyngeal cancer, as well as for the esophagus cancer, stomach cancer, and the liver cancer, and also the pancreas cancer. Even though a few studies have shown less risk, however, the study got a lot of exclusion and using inclusion criteria. As well as goes to the cervix and also the lung cancer. Obviously, lung cancer is known factor to cause major hazardous to the humankind. So, nevertheless, even the urinary tracts, lower urinary tract also shown relatively high risk of acquired cancer by smoking, and also toward the hematological cancer. So, I'd like to end my section by saying that please stop smoking. As we mentioned, it's very hazardous to the humankind and cause a lot of burden towards the economical, social, as well as to the environment. So, thank you. So these are the few questions I put forward by these viewers. Okay, the first question is, why some smokers does not develop cancer despite the smoking for certain years? So I would like to elude the few research was done in Nottingham, UK. They have the UK Bank Lung Foundations. They've been analyzed more than 800 genetics, whereby they know that those patients have a chromosome 23 and 17, they have a less risk to get the cancer. Having said that, despite they not have the risk of cancer, but they have other risk factors to develop COPD and also the heart problem. So eventually, either you have a high risk to obtain or to get cancer, or with other morbidity of the risk. Okay, the second question is, how does smokeless tobacco cause cancer? So as I mentioned earlier, the betel quid and also the palm product actually is contain chemical that it can cause eroded to the oral mucosa, and also high prevalence to get oral cavity cancer, especially very widely seen in India, whereby palm product is one of the main habits being seen in the Indian community, Bangladesh, as also in Pakistan area. And do filter reduce the dangers of cigarette smoking? Definitely not. The filter just act as the semi-filters, and it just filter the smoke, not the contain of these hazardous compounds in the smoking.